We got a full studio this morning. There's so many people packed in here today. We're going to have our own concert probably later. It's going to be a lot of fun. I will not do the singing at any point. So it's okay. It's going to be safe in here. That's another thing. It will be very safe in here today. Mm-hmm. All right. So we have a full studio. Yesterday, we were talking about a Sunday article that came out in the Advertiser talking about two different individuals who are veterans who did not like a couple of issues. There were some criticisms of one of the candidates who is running for Lafayette Parish Sheriff, Mark Garber. So, it's about a 50-50 split yesterday with people coming or calling in to make their comments. Mm-hmm. So coming in this morning is Mark Garber himself, who is a candidate for Lafayette Parish Sheriff. And let's just clear this up right now. I mean, this really just gave me a hoot. The man did receive the Bronze Star Medal, okay, mm-hmm. people? So just let's get that done right out of the box. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity.
No problem. Okay, so it is amazing to me, and you get to give your side of the issue, what some of the criticisms were, and what your thoughts are in that realm. And you've also brought some veterans with you this morning, and they want a chance to be able to speak too, which I think is great. What has this campaign been like thus far for you?
Well, first of all, I'd like to point out that the support from the veteran community, the military veteran community in Acadiana has been overwhelming. Mm-hmm. Overwhelming on Facebook and overwhelming in person. These gentlemen, I have 6 with me this morning, 2 who can't even fit inside the studio here. They have given their time yesterday mm-hmm. and today, mm-hmm. Voluntarily to come here in person and support me. And it's very, very humbling, and I'm very proud of our community. This is why I moved back here to Acadiana. This mm-hmm. is why I love Acadiana, why I love Lafayette Parish, because we as a people band together over causes. And we stick together, we take care of our neighbors, we take care of our children, we take care of our community. Organizations like Faith House, like Hearts of Hope, like the DeZormo Foundation, all are examples of how our community bands together and why I want to be Lafayette Parish's next sheriff.
Let's talk about some of the criticisms, because there were 2 different veterans upset that when people were asked to stand for their service, that you had stood at those 2 events. Now, these veterans obviously see it very, very differently. What was it like for you in your mind? Because you were an interrogator. You were there for 4 months. You received an award. I mean, obviously, your life was on the line every single day when you're in that capacity as an interrogator. You stood.
Well, I stood up because they asked those who served to stand and be recognized. And I'm in the middle of a conversation. People are standing up, and I did so without any thought of possibly offending anyone. Mm-hmm. And I'm not apologizing for standing up, but I am sorry if someone was offended mm-hmm. because they don't understand the capacity within which I serve this country. Yeah. I did go in harm's way. I have not made that an issue in this campaign. Others who apparently have sought to attack my campaign and attack my family have made it an issue. And let me say something. This started months ago. My mother was accosted by a supporter of another candidate at the Scott Boudin Festival on this very issue. She was given just completely torn down in public, told her son was a fraud, and that this medal was fake. And that was an unprovoked attack. My mother was not speaking to this person, and they came up to her, and this had been brewing and brewing and brewing mm-hmm. on the internet and through the I call it the below the belt war that's going on in this sheriff's race. I'm already tired of it. It has no place in politics, yet it always seems to rear its ugly head. Mm-hmm. So this is not a new issue. This is just the latest iteration of an issue that's been pushed by other candidates in this race and their mm-hmm. supporters.
Well, and that's why we started off with, yes, you did receive that medal.
Yes, ma'am.
We want to make people clearly understand that. All right, so which gentleman would you like? Let's start with Mr. Scheffler this morning. Mr. Scheffler, in terms of your support, tell me why you stand behind Mr. Garber, especially on this issue of service.
Well, first of all, I'm the past commander of the American Legion Post 69, and we do not endorse or oppose candidates at all. We at meetings at times, we've had political candidates come and give talks to the group, but we in no way can endorse. Mm-hmm. And so when someone says they're speaking for the American Legion in terms of politics, that's probably they should be saying I'm speaking on my own.
Mm-hmm. They should have been more clear about that.
As I am now, I'm speaking only
as yourself.
As yourself,
yes.
Not representing American Legion.
Mm-hmm.
Mark served as a civil service GS-12 employee of the Air Force OSI. I was at Robins Air Force Base where we had 25,000 civil service employees who played a vital role in meeting the mission of the Air Force. And so they're serving. They're not subject to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, but they are subject to always the administrative management control of commissioned officers in the Air Force. So they indeed play a vital role in serving our country.
All right, Ross Kraft, if you will, sorry, there's so many people in here this morning. Ross, give me your thoughts on this particular situation from your background and what you think about it.
My background is in the U.S. Marine Corps. I served 4 years, did 2 tours in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan, another in the Philippines. Upon reading the article, I found one of the greatest issues I had was it seemed that Mr. Bentley and Mr. Santini were speaking on behalf of all veterans. That's the implications I got from the article. As far as I'm concerned, I can speak for myself. And when we have other issues with veterans going on as far as health care, homelessness, the multiple challenges that returning veterans face, I would prefer that the members of the Veterans Coalition, the commander of the American Legion, focus on those. And when they speak with the media, please try to draw attention to that, not become involved in a local political campaign, which their statements basically come down to mudslinging. Mark Garber served with OSI. From being in Iraq, I know it's a high-intensity, high adrenaline job where you're dodging IEDs, sniper fire, and all other manner of plots to end your life. Mm-hmm. When you're over there, it doesn't matter if you're military, DEA, CIA, OSI, or an interpreter or a diplomat. They still want to kill you. As far as his service goes, had he been killed, he would be no less dead. And his service would mean no less than anyone else's. At the end of the day, these gentlemen took it upon themselves to make an issue where there is none. And the first time I met Mark Garber, he told me, I am not in the military. I asked about the Bronze Star. He made it clear that he was an OSI employee, and I found him to be a humble man and a man of integrity. And this article that came out and these 2 gentlemen, all it has done is lead me to question their integrity and question the mission of the Veterans Coalition and the American Legion.
Does anybody know, anybody in this room, do y'all know either of the 2 gentlemen, Bentley or the other gentleman that we referenced? Anybody know any of them? Mr. Scheffler, you know them?
Okay. And I think I know Mr. Santini.
Okay. Yes. So they were just expressing their views as their own individuals.
Yeah, we had an American Legion meeting in May. Mm-hmm. This subject was not at all brought up. No political issue was brought up and discussed. We did not have a meeting in June because they have their annual convention in Alexandria. Uh-huh. So there was no opportunity to get a formal position of the American Legion Post 69 that I'm aware of.
Right. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have some more to add?
No, I was just saying, and if it took a public position, that needs to be brought before the board and the membership, which did not occur.
Right. And the protocol was not followed, to say the least. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, Andrew. Melisonic?
Close enough.
Wait, no, come on. Tell me what it is. Do it one more time.
Malik Sonis.
Malik Sonis. Now, that's probably like the coolest name ever. All right, Malik Sonis. All right, I finally got it right. So, Andrew, give your perspective, please.
Okay, well, as a veteran myself, I actually don't expect any form of apology from Mark, and I really don't want one. I respect any man or woman that's went to Iraq or Afghanistan in any of these support roles or even as a front line. If he was 11 Bravo kicking doors or if he was a cook making meals, either which way, he put himself in harm's way by being in that country. He took it upon himself, separated from his family, went over there. So one vet to another, if we're getting into the technicalities of it, I consider him just as much a vet as my brothers and sisters that were on my side that I had no issue defending as they defended me. Now, look at the other side of it. A lot of civilians out there looking in on this saying, oh, well, he misrepresented himself. Think about what you're saying. You're looking at a fella who went overseas on your behalf, went there, received a medal for it, did everything, has the accolades behind him, and then questioning it on the back end. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to judge on the outside looking in versus being there, doing it, having gone through it. Mark is a veteran, no doubt in my mind. That's coming from a veteran with a whole family that has served. My dad, my brother, my dad's dad. I promise you, none of us expect an apology. So by no means did the fellow who brought all this into question speak on our behalves.
And finally, as we're wrapping up here, your like general thoughts, not about this particular situation, but for your work that you did. How would you describe it for people so they can understand?
Well, it was a classified assignment. You know, when I left, I signed non-disclosure agreements.
So there's things you probably can't.
Well, there's been books written about it that drew some scrutiny from the Department of Defense that were ultimately published. And you know, my Bronze Star certificate, well, the citation that accompanies the Bronze Star, says what I did that justified the award of the Bronze Star. They don't give, in a military veteran's a better one to address this, but my appreciation is, you know, these things aren't given out. You know, they don't hand you a medal and say, pat you on the back. So it's got to go through several layers of review. This is signed by a general officer. We brought a copy in today. You said earlier off the air that you've seen it before. The citation is what says what I did. I was a battlefield interrogator at the point of capture for an Army Special Operations Task Force and we were trying to go after the senior leadership of Al-Qaeda, and we did so. And we did so quite effectively. And I was served with some very, very extremely brave and dedicated men that I was very humbled to serve with. I took some very good lessons from that service. I bring that back with me to Acadiana to serve as the next sheriff. And I was humbled by the opportunity to serve. I'm proud I had the opportunity to serve. And I'm very humbled by the support from the local veteran community, like I alluded to earlier. We live in an amazing, amazing place in the world, and I'm absolutely convinced we live in the best place in the world to raise a family and to pursue a career and to have a life.
And just one real quick thing, just wanted to get you to address real quickly. That was in the article as well. It talked about the website issue and the advertiser saying that the quote that said Mr. Garber and Mr. Murray, the attorney C. Ray Murray, are military veterans, and that it was taken down on Thursday according to the advertiser. Just want to get you to address that real quickly.
I'm really excited that someone found my law firm website because I don't think anyone's looked at it in years. So to the political operative who dug it up, thank you for bringing attention to my law firm website. My law firm, still is in operation. I do National Firearms Act Gun Trust and other legal services, and I appreciate them finding and reading my website. I don't know if anybody ever had until this time, and I certainly didn't know that was written that way. My law partner is a veteran of the Army and the Coast Guard. He is a retired military service member, and that was not, I don't know who wrote that. And it got lumped in.
We were laughing yesterday amongst ourselves just about our stuff and who writes our stuff, because they make us write out the stuff we're supposed to write, but we don't get to put that in that section. So we laugh because we don't even know. We didn't look in that in a while. We don't know who we are. So no, we certainly understand that too. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, gentlemen. Thank you for coming in this morning. I know it was kind of hectic because there was like a lot of people, but I think it worked out very beautifully. And thank you for agreeing to come in today. We certainly appreciate your time.
Well, likewise. Thank y'all.